Hello, in this video I will do an ASVAB arithmetic reasoning practice test, and this will be practice test number 5. Okay, so yeah, ASVAB arithmetic reasoning te exam, practice test 5. Let's start the exam. Okay, let's start with question 1. Question 1 says Melissa types 40 words per minute. If it takes her 45 minutes to type a report, how many words are in the report? So in the ASVAB, there's no this is this is a proportion word problem. So yeah, it's either proportion or linear or something else. So let's set it up. You set it up like this, and then you can set up however your units is. Just remember this unit must match to this unit, and then this unit must match with this unit. So what units do we have? It says Melissa types 40 words per minute. So when you hear the word per, that means like a fraction. So you could put words on the top and then minutes on the bottom, right? Do the same thing on the right. So this must be words, and then this should be minutes. Okay. Then fill in the blanks, and you should have one unknown. So Melissa types 40 words. So you should put 40 here per minute. It says per minute is the same thing as 1 minute. So you could put a 1 here. If it takes her 45 minutes, so you could put 45 here. How many words? So our words is our unknown, so we're going to call it X. Okay. Now go ahead and solve for X by cross multiplying. So what's 1 times X? X. What is 40 times 45? It is, you could do this, you know how to multiply this, but I'm going to just multiply it out. Right, 40 times 45. So it's going to be 0. 5 times 4 is 20, carry the 2. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2 is 22. Placeholder, 4 times 0 is 0. And 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, add them up and you get 1820. Wait, why am I doing this wrong? It's 40, it should be 1800. What did I do wrong? Hold on. Yeah, it should be C, 1800. So let me see what I did wrong with my calculations of 40 times 45. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Placeholder, 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 4 is 16. There we go. 6 plus 2 is 8. 18. So as you can see, we can't use a calculator on the exam. So as you can see, it's easy to make mistakes. So it's going to be letter C. So yeah, don't make that mistake. Okay. Question 2. Rachel bought 5 pounds of pears and 4 pineapples. Emma bought 2 and 3/4 pound of pears and 3 pineapples. If pear costs $1.59 per pound and pineapples are 3 for 150, so yeah, pineapple, so this is also important. Pineapples they come in packs of 3 for 150. So you can't get like 2 pears for 150. How much more money did Rachel spend than Emma? So when you hear the word more, that I automatically think um it's subtraction. So it's basically Rachel minus Emma. So yeah, it's subtraction, and we got to figure out the Rachel's cost minus Emma's cost, right? That's all we got to do. So let's first find Rachel's cost. So Rachel's cost is she ordered 5 pounds of pears plus 4 pineapples. Okay, let's fill in what we have. So £5 per pair. So we said that £5 per. How much are pears? Pears cost $1.59, so it's going to be 5 times 1.59 plus 4 pineapples. So we careful with this one. I thought it's easy to make mistakes. So pineapples cost come only 3 pairs. So we're gonna have to get more than 4 pineapples because it comes packs of 3. So we can't have 1 pack, we need 2 packs. So 1 pack of pineapples is $1.50. And then we have to go a little bit more because they only come packs of pairs of 3. So you're gonna need another pack, which is another $1.50. So yeah, sometimes you have to go overboard or amount over the amount in order to satisfy 4 pineapples, right? Okay. So 5 times 159 is going to be 1095. And then plus 150 plus 150. Now remember, if you or can't use a calculator, so if you forgot how to multiply with decimals or add or subtract decimals, check out my supplementary videos below of this course. So yeah. And then add them up. What's 1095 plus $1.50 plus $1.50? Um, when you're adding decimals, just make sure you line them up. It's not the largest amount of sig fig that goes on top. No, it's you just add them up and you get, oh, sorry. The total is 1095 and yeah, 159 times 5 is not 1095. It is 9 times 5 is 45, carry the 4. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29, carry the 2, it's 5, 795. So when you add 795 plus $1.50 plus $1.50 is going to be 1095. Okay. Now let's find how much Emma cost. Emma's, what did she buy? She bought 2 3/4 pounds a pair. So 2 3/4 times 159. And what else does she buy? And 3 pineapples. So good. 3 pineapples comes exactly as $1.50. So as you can see, if you look at our choices, everything's in this near cent. So what we have to do is first convert this mixed fraction into improper, right? I mean, into a decimal. So let's leave the 2 alone. But what is 3/4? 3/4 or 3 divided by 4 is going to be 0.75, right? Because put a decimal here, put an extra 0, line this up. How many times 4 going to 30? 7? 7 times 4 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. Bring down the 0. That would be 0.75. So 2 3/4 is the same thing as $2.75 times it by 159. Okay, plus 150. So I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to multiply this out completely, but just know when you multiply decimals, it's the largest amount of sig figs that goes on the top, and then the smaller amount of sig fig goes on the bottom. So this one, it doesn't matter what you put on the top and the bottom because they both have 3 sig figs. So you could do 2.75 times 1.59, or you could do 1.59 times 2.75. Okay. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that one because we do have a little bit of time. I want to go over this before it yeah. So 275 plus 1 times 1.59 plus 150 comes out as $5.87. Okay. So if you go back to they're asking how much more money did Rachel spend than Emma? It's basically Rachel's cost minus Emma's cost. So Rachel's cost was 1095 minus Emma's cost, which is 587. Put it all together, you get $5.08. Letter D. Okay, that was question two. Let's move on. Oh, at this one. This one's a bit confusing at first. Um, in a chemical mixture, a recipe calls for 3 and 2/4 pounds of ingredient A and 1 and 3/4. Oh no, this is not too bad. In a chemical mixture, the recipe calls for 3 and 2/4 pounds of ingredient A and 1 and 3/4 pounds of ingredient B and 4.5 pounds of ingredient C. What is the total weight of the mixture? So it's just adding up all of them. And as you can see, if you look at all the choices, they're all mixed, right? They're all mixed fractions. So what we'll have to do, so the total is mixture A plus mixture B plus mixture C, right? So mixture A calls for 3 and 2/4 pounds of ingredient A. Mixture B is 1 and 3/4, and mixture C is 4 and 1/2. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make these mix into improper. Then then we'll make that improper into mixed. So let's start with 3 and 2/4. How do you make that in this mix improper? So you just multiply 3 and 4, which is 12, plus 2, which is 14 over 4. And what about 1 and 3/4? Let's make that mix improper. So 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 4, plus 6, 7 fourths, plus what's 4 times 1/2? 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1, that's 9/2. Okay. Now, before I find my common denominator, what would make your life easier is to try to reduce. The only thing I could see that can be reduced is the 14/4, which can be reduced by 2, right? So 14 divided by 2 is 7. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay. Now, what is my LCD, lowest common denominator? So when you're adding or subtracting fraction, you need an LCD. It is 4. And why is that 4? Because if you look at the numbers on the bottom, we have a 2, a 4, and a 2. What you want to do is make sure it's in the most primest form. Um, 2 is prime. It can't be broken down. Prime numbers can only be times by 1 in itself. 4 is not prime. 4 could be broken down as 2 times 2, or you can think of it as 2 squared. And 2 is prime. Okay. What you want after you break it down, then you want to look at the bases. If you have a repeating base, pick the one with the highest power. If you have a non-repeating base, bring it together. You're going to multiply it all together. So if you look in the bottom, we have a base of 2, we have a base of 2, we have a base of 2. They're all repeating base of 2. So which one do I pick? You pick the one with the highest power, so you're going to pick 2 squared. And 2 squared is 4. Okay? So what we're going to do is our LCD is 4, so you can put 4 in the bottom because that's our LCD. So on the bottom, it's always your LCD. So then what you're going to do is if our LCD is 4, what about this 2? What do we have to multiply 2 to get 4? You're going to multiply it by 2. So you got to do it top and bottom. Over here, this is good. This already has a 4, so you don't have to multiply anything out. Over here, you're going to have to multiply top and bottom by 2, which is 18. So on the bottom, it's always your LCD no matter what. On the top, you're going to do some algebra. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus 7, and 9 times 2 is 18. Put it all together, you get 39 over 4. And what we have to do is you don't see our answer because this is improper. You got to make this mix. So it's pretty simple. Just put 39 for 8 times. How many times does 4 go 39? About 9, because 9 times 4 is 36. 39 minus 36 is 73. So we have 9 and our remainder is 3, and it's whatever you're dividing, which is 4. So I get 9 and 3/4. Okay. Okay. Yes, feel free to pause or rewatch the videos. It's fine. Okay, question four. Sarah lives 8 miles from the park. If she walks three-fourths of the way and takes a break, what is the remaining distance of the park? So imagine, let's see. Right. So imagine this is Sarah, right? Or this is where Sarah lives, and then this is what is the park? And the total distance is exactly 8 miles. She walked three-fourths of a mile. So what is the remaining distance? So what they're really asking is what is three-fourths of 8 miles? Okay. So yeah, what is your unknown is equal three-fourths, and then of means multiplication. So what's 4 times 8? Well, it's fraction, so 3 times 8 is 24 over 1. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So she walked a total of 6 miles, and if the total distance is 8, how much more miles does she need to walk? 2, right? Or you could do 8 minus 6, which is 2 miles. So that's letter A. Okay, question 5. Emily cast a shadow 4 feet long. Her brother, who is 5 feet tall, casts a shadow 6 feet long. How tall is Emily? So this is just a simple proportion problem. That's it. So yeah, it's a proportion problem. So how do we set it up? Like this. So what are our units? Emily casts a shadow 4 feet long. Her brother is 5 feet tall, casts a shadow of 6 feet. So it's all about shadow and height, right? Or tallness and shadow, right? So you could put tall here, how tall that person is, and how much, and then shadow on the bottom. Same thing here, put tall here, shadow on the bottom. Okay, so tallness is, okay, so Emily casts a shadow that is 4 feet long. Okay, so Emily casts a fourth shadow. So where do we put that 4 feet? Where do I put this value for? Top or bottom? So it's a shadow, so you put 4 on the bottom. And her brother, who is 5 feet tall, so you could put 5 here, casts a shadow of 6. So put 6 here, and then our unknown is x. Okay? And then go ahead and cross multiply. So 6 times x is 6x. And then cross multiply 4 times 5. And then 4 times 5 is 20. Solve for x. Divide this by 6. Um, as you can see, we have to do some simplification. 20 divided by 6. How many times does 6 go into 20? About 3. 20 minus 18 is 2. And you get 3 and 2/3. You don't, I mean, 3 and, so you have a remainder of 2 and then over 6. Now, 2/6 can be reduced by 2, so that would be 1/3. So, do you see our choices? Well, not quite. They It's not A, it's not, it could be B, it's not C, or it's not, and I know it's not D because ours is not in 4 feet. It's B, but what they did was they put it in decimal. 1/3 is like the same thing as 0.33, right? If you do the long division, 1 here, 3, placeholder, 0, right? 3 times 3 is 9, 10 minus 9 is 1. and repeat the process again. So yeah, it's just this. Let's try six. Okay. Six says Marie spent 25 minutes sweeping, 15 minutes mopping, and 30 minutes cleaning windows. How many minutes did Maria spend cleaning? So this one's not too bad. Just make sure you reread it. Sometimes they might mess with you with the units. It says either asking how many minutes did Maria spend cleaning. So everything is in minutes. That's true. So there's no conversion. All you got to do is add them up. So she spent 25 minutes sweeping, 15 minutes mopping, and then 30 minutes cleaning. So it's 25 plus 15 plus 30, 70 minutes. Good. Okay, this one was a little bit tricky when I first read it. So question 7. A recipe calls for 4 cups of sugar and flour combined. If 1/5 of the total recipe is sugar, how many cups of flours are needed? So if you have to reread it again, that's fine. So I'll read it again. A recipe calls for 4 cups of sugar and flour combined. If 1/5 of the total recipe is sugar, how many cups of flours are needed? So we need the amount of flours are needed. So what I'm going to do is first, step one, first calculate the amount of sugar in the recipe. Okay. So we were given 4 cups times 1/5 of sugar. So, multiply what's 4 times 1/5? That is 4/5. So you get 4/5 cups of sugar. Then what I'm going to do is subtract out the cups of sugar from the total recipe. So step two, I'm going to subtract out the cups from total recipe. So it's basically it's 4 minus 4/5 or 4/1, and then this has an LCD of 5, right? LCD is 5 because you have a 1 and 5. Uh if you have different base, they're in the most primest form and they're different bases, so we just multiply it out. So LCD is 5, so multiply here, top and bottom by 5. So 5 times 4 is 20 minus 4. What's 20 minus 4? 16. And then, yes, as you can see, ours is, you don't see our answer because they made this improper into a mix, which is pretty doable. So 16 over 5. How many times is 5 times 16? About 3. 16 minus 5 is 1. So you have 3 and 1/5. Okay, good. B. Question 8. Maria's rents 5 books for $15. What would be the cost of 3 books rental fee? So this is just a simple proportion problem. You may set it up like this. So Maria rents 5 books for $15. So you could put rent on the top and then the cost on the bottom. So over here, this would be rent. and then this would be cost. So Maria's rent 5 books for $15, and so you put 15 on the bottom because that's your cost. What would be the cost? So costs are unknown of 3 books of 3 books rental. So 3 would be our rent. Okay, so go ahead and solve for x by cross multiplying. So 5 times x is 5x. And then it's going to be 3 times 15. What's 3 times 15? It is 45. Solve for x by dividing both sides by 5. And you get 45 over 5 is 9. Okay. Okay. Question 9. A circular pond has a radius of 5 meters. What is the area of the circular pond? So this one, you just need to know the area of a circle. So what is the area of a circle? It is, I think it's pi r squared. Hold on. Let me check. Yes. Let me double check. Yeah, so a circular, I think, yeah. The area of a circle is pi r square. And you literally just plug in, see, as you look at your choices, they're all in pi. So do not replace pi with 3.14. Just fill in what you have. So it's pi and then r, the radius is 5. So it's going to be 5 square. So that is 5 square is 25 pi. Okay, that's it. So yeah, good. Okay, that was a simple one. I was just double checking that the area of a circle is pi r square. It is. Okay, so question 10 says, Tom buys 3 pounds of apples and 2 pounds of bananas. If apples cost $1.99 per pound and bananas cost 79 cents per pound, how much change will Tom get if he pays with a $20 bill? So let's figure out what was Tom's total cost. So Tom bought 3 pounds of apples and 2 pounds of bananas. Okay. So 3 pounds of apples. How much are apples? If apples cost $1.99 and then 2 pounds of bananas, how much are bananas? Bananas are 79 cents. So put it all together and we get, so 3 times 199 is 597. And then 2 times 79 cents is $1.58. And when you put it all together, you get 755. Okay. And then all you got to do is do subtraction. So how much does it change from $20 bill? So what's 20 minus 7.55? Now, if you recall, when you're adding or subtracting decimals, make sure the decimals are lined up. So 20 does have like 2 decimals after this zero. Minus 755. This is like 10 minus 5, which is 5. Borrow, 9 minus 5 is 4. Then you have to borrow, this is 9. 9 minus 7 is 8, 9, that's 2. And then you borrow one more, so this is 12. So it is going to be 1245. Okay, that's it. Okay, this one. A laptop is on sale for $800. If the original price was $1,000, what percent has the laptop been discounted? So if a laptop is on sale for $800, if the original price was 1,000, what would be the percentage? What was the percentage that has the laptop been discounted? So this one is just the formula new minus old over old times by 100. So I went over this formula before. So whenever they're asking for a percentage increase or or if it has something about original price, you usually use this formula. Okay, so new minus old over old times it by 100. It's obviously going to be a negative percentage, but you don't see it. You don't see a negative. It's really, so this is really like negative 10%, negative 15, because it's been discounted, right? So what is our new and our old? So my new value is 800. My old value is 1,000, right? A laptop is on sale for 800. That's our new value. It was originally $1,000, so that's our old. So it's going to be new minus old, 800 minus 1,000 over 1,000 times it by 100. So 800 minus 1,000 is negative 200 over 1,000. And then as you can see, the zeros cancels. So you're left with negative 10, negative 2 over 10. And then I believe this could be reduced by 2. So that's going to be 1 over 5. So as you can see, you don't see our answer. So first let's convert 1/5 as a decimal, then move, because we got to times it by 100, so move the decimal 2 places afterwards. So what is 1 divided by 5? So put 1 here, placeholder under 1. How many times does 5 go into 10? Twice, with no remainders, but you still don't see our choices because we got to times it by 100. So basically move this decimal 2 places to the right, so that's 1, and then carry an extra 0, and then percentage. So it's really negative 20% because this was originally negative. So it's going to be, since these are all negative values, they just don't know. They don't tell you that, but it's really C. Okay. Okay. Question 12. Alexandria is 275 miles from Oakdale, and 420 miles from Riverside. How much closer is Alexandria to Oakdale than Alexandria to Riverside? So it's just simple subtraction. As you can see, I mean, if you can see that it's really 425 minus 275, that's it. So yeah, it's just asking basically from Alexandria to Oakdale minus Alexandria to Riverside. So from Alexandria to Oakdale, it's 420 minus from Alexandria to Riverside is 275. So 420 minus 275 is 145 miles. Letter B. Okay. This one, 13, we're almost done. A tank contains 100 gallons of fuel. Due to a leak of zero point 0.5 gallons of fuel leak each day, how many gallons of fuel remained in the tank after 3 weeks? So this is definitely a linear equation. So um, Yeah, it is definitely a linear equation. So in these in this test, it's either proportion or linear equation, right? Or maybe even area. Um, but I know it's a linear equation, so I know we're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is figure out what would be my x values and my y. So a tank contains 100 gallons of fuel due to the leak 0 0.5. Or actually, let's figure out our m and our b. So m is like the uncontrolled value, meaning that we don't really know the value because it's uncontrolled. And then b is your starting point, your given point, or your down payment. So do we have a given point? Yes, a tank contains 100 gallons of fuel. So that is our given point, 100. Um, Due to the leak of 0 0.5 gallons of fuel. So there is a leakage. So, whoops, my M is not 100. That's my B. My B is 100. And my M is the uncontrolled value. So I think our M is 0 0.5, but it's a leakage. So it's going to be negative 0 0.5. Okay. Then what we got to do is figure out our X, label our variables. So what would be our X? I believe our X is going to be the amount of weeks. And I believe our Y is going to be your fuel. Okay. So you see what I did? I figure out my M, my B. B is your starting point, your given point, your down payment. M is like an uncontrolled value. So our M is negative 0 0.5. Then I labeled our variables. So I know our X is our weeks and Y is our fuel. So our equation is going to be Y of X equals negative so it's mx plus b, so my m is negative 0 0.5x and my b is 100, right? Then they're asking you how many gallons. So what are they asking you? Are they asking for an x or a y value? So they're asking you how many gallons, and we said our y is our fuel, so they're trying to figure out what is a y value when the tank has will remain in the tank after 3 weeks. So 3 weeks is an x value. Okay, so we're trying to figure out the y when our x value is 3. So all you got to do is plug in 3 into that function, or wherever you see an x, plug in 3. And when you put it all together, negative 0 0.5 times 3 is negative 1.5 plus 100. And you get, oh, we have a problem. It that we our x is the days, not weeks, because it said that it was eking out each day. And then we're given a time, but it's in 3 weeks. So what we have to do is convert 3 weeks into days, right? We can't, yeah, let's convert that. So how much is 3 weeks in days? So we know that in 1 week, there's 7 days. So what's 3 times 7? 21. So they're actually giving you an X value of not 3 weeks, but 21 days. Okay, so we have to be careful in our units. So instead of 3, we'll do 21. There you go, because now you see our answer. What's negative 0 0.5 times 21 plus 100? It is 89.5. So letter D. Okay. Question 4. A concert begins at 7:45. If it is now 6:15, how much time is left before the concert starts? This one, it's simple as it looks. You could just gotta subtract the time. That's it. So yeah, you just subtract the time. So it will be, yeah, you just subtract the time. 7:45 minus 6:15. 5 minus 5 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. So yeah, you have 1 hour and 30 minutes. Question 15. How many books measure 9 inches by 6 by 1 inch can fit in a shelf measuring 3 feet, 2 feet by 1 feet? Okay, so it's definitely a volume problem, and we know that a volume is basically length times width times height. So how many, what is the volume of one book? It's basically 9 by 6 by 1, and that would be 9 times 6 is 54, and we are in inches cubed. Now keep in mind we're in inches, then this other measurement is in feet. So we have to do some conversion, right? So yeah, so this is the volume of one book. Now let's find the volume of the shelf. So first we got to convert that to inches. So let's start with the feet. So 3 feet in inches would be, you know that 1 feet is 12 inches, so that would be 3 times 12 is 36 inch. And then let's do the feet. So it's 2 feet by 1 feet. It's 12 inches. What's 2 times 12? 24 inches. And then the 1 foot, you know that 1 foot, there's 12 inches. 1 times 12 is 12, so that's 12 inches. Okay, now just put it all together because we're in inches, so it's going to be um 36 by 24 by 12. And you get 10368 inches cubed. So they're asking you how many books can fit in that shelf. So you do not multiply this by this, you divide. So you just do 10,368 divided by the volume of one book, which is 54, and that comes out exactly as 192. So you could fit 192 books in this shelf. Okay, exit summary. I know I already did this one, but it should be 100 if you want to check. Good. Okay, 100. So yeah, I'm going to stop here.